Rival House Network. Hey, everybody. What's up? New Cinema Enema right here. Zach, myself, and very special. If you guys have been following the channel as a whole this month, you guys might know that we have Riverman in tow as well for this one.
Yeah.
What's up?
My last show of the year, so you better savor it.
Savor the gummies.
In true Cinema Enema fashion, the top half of the hour, per se, we are going to hit each other up with news. We're going to talk about that and what we've been watching and stuff like that. And then we'll get into the film that's that topic at the end, which was Riverman's choice, by the way. We'll get into that later. We start with news. And to be honest with you guys, I was looking up stuff and headlines, and there's not a whole lot going on with coronavirus. I mean, I guess the biggest news in film is the fact that there are no films. And everything's been pushed back, and
they put out that shit on. You can just stay at home and watch The Invisible Man and shit.
Yeah, I mean that's really the only thing you could talk about, right? So a lot of stuff that was in the cinema briefly went straight to VOD. Invisible Man, Onward, The Hunt. That movie can't catch a break. Let me tell you, because I think The Hunt. Didn't that first try and release when it was politically not very sound to, and then it got delayed, right? Or was it a gun shooting? A shooting happened, right?
I think the president bitched about it on his Twitter, and then that was the last I heard about it. They probably pulled it away.
Well, I don't know if it was timed around a mass shooting or something. There was something that made it bad timing, and they shelved it, and it was going to come out again, and then this shit happens. So now it's just doomed to be video on demand. So you can rent that now. Like we already talked about, Invisible Man. Onward's going to go to Disney Plus, stuff like that. And people are expediting video on demand releases too, to satisfy people that are bored. But I mean, let it be known, they're not exactly doing it out of the kindness of their heart. I mean, they're sending out mass emails and press releases, acting as if it's some sort of token of charity because of what everybody's going through right now. But
if they gave a fuck, they wouldn't charge $20 when they know that people lost their jobs and shit.
I mean, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. They're let it not confuse you. They're a business that's hoping to recoup some losses, which on one hand, I don't blame them. I get it. These movies are expensive, and at the end of the day, they have a ship to fucking run. But yeah, but they're using it as an excuse to come off as compassionate and for good PR. But yeah, they're charging you $20. And I wanted to see Invisible Man because I've heard pretty good things about it. And I'm and I looked at the $20 price tag for a 48-hour rental. I'm like, dude, normally in 2 or 3 months, I'd be able to buy the 4K for that. I'm not renting it.
And plus, the greatest Invisible Man movie ever made is it stars Kevin Bacon. It's called Hollow Man. Just watch that instead. It shows the cock in it.
A lot of other things you could do. The Hunt, I'm not going to waste I want $20 to rent The Hunt. No thanks. At what point are they okay, let's knock it down to $2.99? Because when video on demand, when a movie's a new release, for out of theaters, they charge $5.99, right? It's $6.
Marking it down to $2.99 would make too much sense because then more people would rent it. They'd make more money.
Well,
they're too stupid.
Me personally, I don't even like to rent new releases when they're traditionally new releases for rent, and it's $5.99. After a little bit, they go down to $2.99, and I've rented some movies.
Cheapskate.
Well, I don't want to fucking take. Do you want to spend $6?
If there's something you really want to see, I'll spend $5.99 to rent it.
Yeah, if I really want to see it, I'm not going to fucking rent 20. I'm not going to pay $20 to see Invisible Man, and I'm not going to pay $6 to take a gamble on something. If it was a movie I wanted to see in theaters, I'll pay $6, but I'm not. I'm running out of shit to watch, Todd. I've been in quarantine like you guys. We've been watching the fuck out of movies, and
he's been very slowly making his way through the shittiest stuff he could watch, and then neglecting the good stuff.
That's very true, and we'll get to that when we talk what we've been watching. Because I have that list of shit is long.
I tell him, I'm hey, Midsummer, I give it a 9. Parasite, I give it a 9. So what's he watch whenever, Midsummer, it's on fucking, it's streaming on Prime. No, I'm gonna watch fucking, the Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, even though Zachary told me it's like just okay at best until the end.
And I hated it worse than he did. But no, so basically I'm running out of stuff to watch, so I'm looking at renting, and I've been renting stuff, but I'm not willing to pay $5.99 for gambles either, because this shit's adding up fast, man. I mean, I'm lucky enough to where I have a job where I can still work from home, but shit you not, I'm still spending more money due to all this stuff. And who knows, like none of this stuff is guaranteed for anybody. It's not just the burger flippers. I just think the shelf life on a job like mine or a job like Rivers is a little longer, right, than maybe a burger flipper. But I mean, eventually our place of employment might start running out of reasons to give us work. So I don't know what's going to happen. You know what I mean? So I got to be kind of picky, man. I've been buying all kinds of fucking bullshit quarantine food just because I had no other choice, man. You go to the
fat, huh?
Oh God, I have no choice this week, man. I don't know what I'm going to do because I couldn't even find chicken. I couldn't even find big bags of chicken to like grill off for the week.
I heard semen has a lot of calories too. That can't be doing good.
I mean, hey, come out here and start our compound, man, and we'll start working together on that. Todd and I, we're gonna start an apocalypse compound. I mean, I'm the designated leader. I've already said that. And yeah, man, if it gets to it and Todd has to start drinking your cum to survive, I'll support it. I won't judge you.
I'll do it.
All right. Now, so yeah, that's really all there is for news. Obviously, movies that were yet to actually be released in theaters before all this shit hit the fan are getting like delayed indefinitely. Of course, you have all your big tentpole shit, your Fast and Furious movies. Your Marvel movies, all this stuff is just delayed. They might have like placeholder dates for them, but we all know this shit's going to get bumped off more. Even if this stuff was all contained, this virus, by July, I don't think they want Fast and Furious 9 coming out right out in the start of August. They just don't. We don't know if people are going to be financially able and willing to go to a bunch of movies. I know they'll be itching to get out and like, fuck yeah, let me go to a movie. But who knows what people's wallets are going to look like? We don't know what's going on. So I bet you, I think a lot of shit's getting delayed till next year. Like really long.
That doesn't surprise me.
Wouldn't that be great if this basically just kicked everybody's ass into gear? They stopped going and watching all these shitty Marvel movies, and all of a sudden this stuff doesn't make money. They got to start making good shit again.
Yes.
Look, I'm with
Zach on this one.
You know, I think this is going to put a nail in the coffin of actual cinemas because studios, they're making their money by doing this VOD thing, right? Charging $20. But the cinemas, they make their money on, you know, leasing out these films and when people buy the popcorn and shit, right? They're having to shut all their doors. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure they'll get some sort of bailout. Who knows what the fuck's going on with these businesses and whatever. But
they're too big to fail.
After 3 months, 6 months, whoever knows how long this is going to go on, is this going to be too detrimental of a hit for them to survive? And if they do, are people going to be so used to like, hey, man, I've been just renting this stuff VOD directly, and it's kind of nice. I'm tired of paying $12 a ticket and then $20 for popcorn. Or are people going to be itching to go to the cinema, like after being locked down for so long?
Nobody actually paid for those movies on VOD.
Yeah, I did.
Unless they were like, oh, somebody else did, and I downloaded the illegal copy that they ripped.
Typically, I'm all about like putting money into the system. I really am. But when I see $20 for Invisible Man, look, I'm not paying that.
20 is too much, man.
You don't even own it. It's just to freaking rent it.
And like I said, movies come to physical release so fast these days. Hypothetically, in a couple of months, I could buy the 4K of Invisible Man for probably like $20. So
I did watch the trailer for that, by the way, and it did look pretty cool.
Yeah. So I'm going to wait for it to come down or whatever. Or like I said, if I have to watch it another way, I mean, at this point, I don't want to watch it that bad to where I'm not really sweating.
So is the Dark Universe from Universal back on or what?
It's like another one. It's weird because they canceled it when the Tom Cruise thing happened, and it was like A-list, right?
Which is hilarious because like, oh, we failed with one movie. Let's just cancel it all. Fucking that. They have nothing. Like, there's no drive behind these people.
Well, I mean, Marvel was kind of like that. Iron Man was a hit, but the second movie, the Edward Norton Hulk, it didn't do the same numbers, but they kept going. But if Hulk had been the first one and not Iron Man, they might have scrapped it too. But
see, that's what should have happened. I don't know what fucking went wrong.
Yeah. No, but I think the whole fucking system needs an enema. I think Hollywood needs a reset button. I mean, I wouldn't even care if it burned down at this point. It just really does. Like, we need to restart everything.
Doesn't surprise me.
It needs to go. I don't know. Just put it back on indie people. Like, let's start over. Let's start over from scratch. Build new stars. Build new hungry directors. Build new legacies, because it is trash. I mean,
we get more movies like the Poughkeepsie Tapes.
Oh, great. We're gonna talk
right.
about that. I don't want to jump ahead of us, but okay. So as far as news, obviously that's really the main thing. Other things I was looking through, you can tell there's not a lot going on, man. There's a drought. I've been going on places like Bloody Disgusting and Dread Central, and they're really grasping at straws for headlines. It's actually pretty sad. Like, when most of your homepage is made up of movies, not even like a whole movie list of what's coming to Netflix next month, single movies, and it's not even like, I read a headline. Killer Clowns from Outer Space is hitting you on Netflix next month. I'm like, this movie's been on and off Netflix for years. It's like Mac.
How is that
Dude,
news?
Mac tagged me. I don't know if he tagged you, Zach. Like, oh, hell yeah. And it was like somebody had the fucking headline of Mortal Kombat movie hitting Netflix, coming at your face next month. I'm like, Mac, why is this exciting? This was on Netflix just 2 months ago and they took it off, and now it's just back on again.
Oh, hell yeah.
He cracks me up.
Mortal Kombat hits Netflix next month as well.
That's what I just, what? Huh? What?
That's coming back.
What? Is there an echo? What's going on?
Riverman was just phoning it in the last 5 minutes.
Riverman. That's literally what I just got done doing a tirade over.
Mortal Kombat?
Yes.
Oh.
What do you think I just said?
Oh, I thought you were talking about a different movie.
Oh, okay, that's what I would say too.
I thought you meant Immortal Kombat with our boy from fucking They Live in It, Roddy Piper.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was looking up the recently watched films that I've checked out.
Okay, you
Sorry.
never studied. Doing the old Ghostbusters line, you never studied. All right, so after
This
that,
explains why I'm never on the show anymore.
all right, so yeah, it's like grasping at straws, and even like Mac, I'm like, Mac, what the fuck's wrong with you, man? Like, first of all, I own this. I own this. We've talked about this. Why would I give a shit? And B, these are movies that are on and off Netflix all the time.
But you say that you don't fucking go get the fucking case and do all that hard work to put in the movie. You would rather just stream it.
No, true. If it's streaming, yeah, dude, I'll fucking stream it. And it is harder for me to actually go fish out the movie. But still, like that movie was streaming, and Annihilation just a couple of months ago, and it's been on and off Netflix the past like 4 or 5 years, 6 years. It's like, well, it's not special. It'll get taken off in a month, and it'll come back in a few more. What else news wise? Scream is getting another sequel. I mean, I don't give a fuck. I think is Blumhouse doing that too?
I like Scream.
Oh, everybody scream. Oh, what?
I like the first 2 Scream movies.
The first one I enjoyed when it first came out.
Yeah, they're fine.
We never did any of them.
We could do the first Scream movie. I wouldn't mind doing it. It's a fun movie. I watched it not that long ago, actually. But yeah, another Scream sequel. It's being directed by God knows who, and I think it's
Godsmack.
I think this one's
Sully from Godsmack.
Yeah, Sully Erna. Sully Erna's doing it.
He's gonna fucking tear it up. Fucking the Ghostface gonna come in. Stay away from me. See,
no,
it's amazing.
I was gonna say. Do you think Sully Erna, the director, would have like a female intern, and he's like being testy that day, and she tries to bring him his coffee, and he just ain't having it, and he's all like, "Hey, little bitch," because that's what he does all the time. And then stay away.
Do as I told you.
James Hetfield ripped him off.
He really did, and
he fucking did.
Well, his verse, like his singing voice, is very Lane Staley, right?
He's not as good at playing guitar though. He can only downpick. Not as good as Sully at playing guitar. Okay. Sully doesn't play guitar, but even he's better.
He does play guitar, right. Actually. No, he does play guitar, actually.
I love shitting on the Aaron.
Look, Sully Erna does play guitar. I've somehow seen Godsmack 4 times live, and it just kind of happens. Like, well, how was Godsmack here, and why am I here? I know, I agree.
They were opening up for Metallica when I saw them.
I know, dude. Like, I feel that way too. In those moments,
Metallica should have been opening up for them.
when I catch myself in those moments where I'm somehow at a Godsmack performance, I am like, man, for the next 2 hours, I'm a beta. I feel it surging through my veins. But no.
Well, yeah. Remember we went to the festival and I wanted to leave before Godsmack and you were all pissed off.
Well, I like to judge it. I'm like there, like, hey, let's just watch it for a second. Let's see what they. It was funny, dude.
You've seen him how many times?
It was funny though, man, because that particular performance that he's talking about, it was Rob Zombie that played before him, and then Alice Cooper before that, and like half of this radio festival crowd left after Rob Zombie, and that's the first thing that guy came out on stage. They played a song. And after the first song was over, he's like, "Where did everybody go?" And he was doing his rock and roll frontman voice. Like not hello Cleveland. It's like, where the fuck did you all go? It was so funny, man. But no, he does play guitar because I think after the first album he started playing guitar. So most of the set is him like just kind of strumming away on open fucking chords, and it's whatever. Anyway, we're spending too much time talking about that guy. So Kevin Williamson
does he strum up though? That's all that matters.
Okay. The Scream sequel's been written by Kevin Williamson. I guess he didn't write the fourth Scream movie for some reason. Didn't him and Wes Craven have a falling out of sorts? And that's why they didn't collaborate on that one?
Yeah, Wes Craven died.
Well, no, because Wes Craven directed Scream 4, but Kevin Williamson didn't write it and had nothing to do with it.
I think he did.
He didn't.
I don't know. I thought he did.
Well, I'm gonna look at it just so, because I don't want to get my shit wrong here, but I could have swore I was reading something about this new one, and them talking about he was coming back to write. Hold on.
Well, even if he did do the last one, they still say he's coming back.
I know, but okay, so he did write it. Fuck me. All right, never mind.
I am the fucking master. I'm the king.
The only other news, honestly, it's not even really news. Well, hey, Zach, that Blair Witch game's coming to Nintendo Switch. Wasn't that only like a PSVR thing? Or is it a PC thing?
Oh, it's on. I think it's on all the systems.
Is it? Okay.
Have you played it, Zach?
I can for free. I'm thinking. I was thinking about it. I might.
I mean, I just can't do the first person. Zach, I tried doing Resident Evil 7. I tried playing it today. I played it for a good hour and a half, but at the end of it, I was just so sick. I'm like, I just can't physically play this anymore.
Just off yourself.
It's got to be better than the new Terminator game.
Oh God! Anybody even think about that? Riverman, like
that looks awful.
Riverman, you said you put 8 hours into that Resident Evil 7. I looked at all your trophies, dude, and they're like all story based. There's no way you did.
Yeah, well,
I
8
got more
hours. It takes me forever to get through a damn game. I'm not a good gamer.
I'm just saying, like I've got more story based trophies than you, and I ain't put 8 hours in.
I've put 8 hours in of my time, not the game time.
Walking into a wall, boom, boom,
yeah.
boom, boom.
Dying multiple times.
Going back and forth, wondering where the fuck to go.
Yeah.
I'm not stuck anymore, Zach. Like I was actually I think I hit a hurdle and I stopped, but I can't. Playing over an hour was enough. I'm like, I can't. I just feel sick. I can't do it. I don't give a fuck anymore. I mean, the game is fun and it's kind of cool, but I don't know. It's a lot of like creepypasta shit. Run away from this person. Don't let mama whatever catch you. Don't let Jack catch you or whatever. I'm like, this is it's kind of getting old.
No, it's like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, dude. It's awesome.
I know, but Todd, I don't think you're that far. I want some action now. It's like, can I progress with the story?
You want some action? What the fuck? Go play part 5 and 6.
I want part punching boulders. No, I don't. I'm just saying I can't.
That one didn't make you sick, by the way.
I can't do. It's the first person thing. I can't do it. I can't do it for too long. So
I can't play a game that looks like it does whenever I just walk down the street in real life.
Well, it's different. I have peripheral vision in real life. You don't in those fucking games.
I thought you were getting the new Doom game.
Oh, I did. I got it in the mail, and
you hate first person.
Send it to me since you're too beta to play it.
I'm gonna give it a shot tonight. We'll see what happens, man. I probably should have got it on Switch, so I had that descaled frame rate.
Yeah, whenever you inevitably can't play it because you're a pussy, send it to me.
Might happen. Anyway, I just can't deal with it. I'm counting down the days for RE3 though. See, that's more my speed. I can't tell you why I get sick with that shit, but I do. But anyway, and old school FPS didn't make me sick. I could play the old Doom. I could have played like old school PC Hexen and shit like that, or Wolfenstein. That doesn't make me sick. So I don't know what it is. But no, same thing, man. River, my lady was up here, watching me play. I was like, hey, just come up here and watch me play. And she said the same thing.
Did you have to give it to a real man and let her play it for you?
Listen, no, you know what she said after 15 minutes? Like, this game is making me dizzy. She said the same thing. I'm like, I know, right?
You're made for each other. The Beta family.
Okay.
That's right.
All right, Beto O'Rourke. Let's okay, the only other news thing I want to say is I was looking on these headlines and somebody did an interview with Linda Hamilton, and once again they're talking about, did you ever see Dark Fate, River?
No,
You got to watch it just to put your stamp on it, just to let us know your opinion.
AKA Terminator Deepfake.
Did you watch it, Zach?
Not yet. I got it.
You definitely. it's not one of those movies where it's like, oh God, kill me, just end. I mean, it's a thing. You can sit through it and watch it. So it's not going to be like torture, but you're going to, as a fan, you're going to be like, what the fuck are they doing? Anyway, I don't know if I want to even talk about it because you've never seen it. Do you already know all the spoilers? You kind of live in a cave, so you don't even know like a lot of stuff that's all over online. Should I even tell you?
I don't know any of the spoilers. You can tell me. I'm probably not going to watch it until it goes down to $5.99. It's $10 to buy.
All right. So the big controversy is that they killed John Connor in the first 1 minute in the movie, right?
Oh, was Edward Furlong in it?
Well, so
they deep faked his head onto a fucking younger actor.
It was rumored from the get-go. The story was already out there online months before it came out, and I saw it, and it seemed pretty legit. So, it was all right. But even then, I was hoping, like, okay, well, hopefully, they're going to give the John Connor character at least some kind of credit where it's due, and we're going to get like, maybe he's going to die in the opening, but we're going to get like 10 minutes. Maybe it's going to be really cool. Maybe it's going to be him in the future. He stopped Judgment Day. Maybe he's working as like a boring fucking accountant, or he's working an office job and he just totally changed trajectory. That would be interesting. And a Terminator comes out of nowhere and kills him. No, dude. The movie starts off at a bang on a beach. Like him and Sarah Connor. This is like right after Judgment Day. They stopped Judgment Day and they left the border, right? Because they were fugitives, right?
Yeah.
So it starts off, they're on a beach in, I think, Costa Rica, having a Mai Tai or whatever. And John Connor's going to pick up a fucking taco from a stand to bring it back to Sarah, who's at like a tiki hut bar. And all of a sudden, an Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator comes onto the beach, like out of the water or something. I don't fucking know, or onto the beach and just fucking takes a shotgun and blows him away.
Death by taco.
So it's kind of like an executive decision, Steven Seagal moment.
He was in the movie at least a half hour, Todd. Jeez. Like, and let me tell you this. Edward Furlong was even saying, yeah, I'm in the movie. Yeah, I'm in there. No, they deep faked him. They got someone that had the same body and hairstyle as Sarah Connor circa 1991. They got a little kid to kind of play young John Connor, and they got someone to play young Arnold, and they deep faked their digital faces on him.
Ugh.
And it's cringe as fuck.
It's kind of like the digital Arnold they did in the last one.
Yeah. Well,
that was horrible.
At least you had Arnold in it, like a legitimate Arnold to legitimize it, like fighting him. But this was all very off-putting, and it was really weird to see. Like, it felt like that never seen the light of day Beetlejuice Hawaiian style sequel. Like, why am I seeing the Terminator on a tropical beach with people all happy and Mai Tais? And it felt weird. But anyway, there's an article that just came out where Helena Hamilton was addressing that again. And she basically said, of course, I know it probably pissed people off. She's pretty vocal, man. Even after the movie came out, she's like, I'm glad it's done. She doesn't give a shit. Just give me the paycheck. She's kind of like that. She wasn't really doing a good job of selling the movie. But what was she saying? She says, well, they brought me down, I guess, as guidance, because they had a chick playing me that wasn't me. That kind of looked like me back in the day. And she was basically saying I had issues with it the whole time. Like, she was doing it all wrong. Like, no, you can't just toss her sides. Like, Sarah Connor's supposed to fight more than this, because she doesn't. It's like, it's a weird fucking scene. And she was saying, yeah, the actress was doing things that Sarah Connor probably would never do. Like, when she goes up to Terminator, she grabs like his free hand and not the one with the gun for some damn reason. Like, none of it made sense. But anyway, it's dumb, it's stupid, and it pisses you off. And then from there, it essentially just becomes a reboot remake of the first Terminator. It's like they're remaking it. Like, okay, what? Because they did a new timeline has started. But anyway,
I'm not gonna watch it.
Well, you know what they say: it's better to be pissed off than pissed on.
I'm done with that whole franchise.
It's worth, if you can watch it for free or maybe $1 or $2, it might be worth it, because if you can look, I kind of want to watch it again now that I have the stung is already worn off, because it's so offensive the first time you watch it, because you can't believe they're shitting on your childhood with what they do to the story. But now that I know it's already coming and the Band-Aid's already ripped off, it's not as bad as the last two Terminators. It technically by default is the third best in the series. But like I said, that's not a very high bar. It was kind of automatically going to be that, right? Not a hard.
Who's the antagonist in this one? Is it?
It's a new Terminator. They had to go Mexican this time because they're trying to represent. But he's not too bad. Like, he's better than the last couple of villains, and
at least it wasn't the female Terminator,
dude.
That was terrible.
Well, that Terminator was fucking hot. I'd fucked her,
dude. She wasn't menacing at all.
Was she like, I like your gun, or I like your car? What'd she say? was really cringy. But anyway, yeah. So no, but to be fair, the Terminator villain is okay. No one's ever going to stack up against the T-1000 and Robert Patrick anymore. It's just
Yeah.
Oh, he's an old piece of bubble gum. Fuck him. No, I'm just joking.
But I'm saying, like, to be realistic, I'm like, he's fine. He was okay. I didn't mind him. When Arnold was on screen, you don't mind him. He's charming, but Arnold doesn't show up till halfway through the movie.
Fuck that.
It's Linda Hamilton's movie, right? Linda Hamilton
Show her
is
tits?
like, no, she looks like a leather purse, dude. Linda Hamilton.
I'd like to see them tits.
Why didn't they make Edward Furlong the Terminator?
Dude.
He's pretty fucking scary.
John Connor is the Terminator.
So Linda Hamilton is basically like the Terminator or Kyle Reese in this one, kind of. It's kind of a remake, a retread of the first one. And since they changed the timeline, there's another new quote unquote John Connor, right? In this timeline that's been created.
You saying fucking Linda Hamilton comes back in time to fuck her son? That is a great idea for a movie.
Yeah. I mean, it could have only helped. But anyway, you should watch it. The thing is the action is, at least it is action. Like pretty much the whole thing, there's like action going on. So that's already a cut above like 3 and 4. So it's a total popcorn movie. The effects leave a lot of room to be desired. Like they're not as good as you would think a movie like this should be. Like some of it's kind of like cartoony. Like, all right, that wasn't believable.
Well, how does T2 look so good? And that was made, what, 91?
Yeah, it was
compared to the shit that's coming out now.
Well, the stuff they did in T2, man, they would use with green screens today. Like they really fucking drove a semi truck off that bridge, right?
Yeah, that was awesome.
And they used a real stunt like Edward Furlong with to be a part of that scene. I mean, like they don't do that anymore. I don't know if it's because it's cheaper to do it all CGI, probably, but it's also just liability. Like, you know what? We don't want to pay for all the insurance it's going to cost for us to do all this stuff. But who knows? It is cheap.
That's why it bombed.
I just think people are over the franchise. It's done. They bombed because we just had Terminator Genesis.
Everybody hated that movie, yeah.
And so it's like
yeah, that's true.
And then immediately after that, like that movie was still in the theater still when the rights went up and James Cameron got him back to his, like, what is it, Skydance? Is that his company? So while Genesis was still in theaters, it was announced that the rights finally reverted back to Cameron, and he announced that he was going to reboot it. So obviously it took a couple of years for that to come out, but he announced he was rebooting it while the other one was still fresh and in the theaters. Nobody cared. It needed to go away for quite a while. But like I said, with that said, it's not like a terrible movie. It's totally passable. And it's at least a popcorn action movie. It's just, don't get too pissed off at like they're shitting on your childhood, but it is what it is, man. But I will say this. It's definitely of this era. It is quote unquote woke as fuck. It's a female empowerment movie, which they kind of always were. Sarah Connor was a female, especially in that second one.
Yeah.
But this one is very much
in your face.
Men bad, women good. Men killed our future. It's all woman. The new savior is a woman. It's a little heavy handed is what I'm saying.
Kind of like the Marvel movies now.
Does it show tits in it?
There are no titties.
Fuck it.
There are no titties. But like I said, man, you guys should watch it and let me know what you think. I mean, I don't remember what I rated it, but it's not like it's fine. It's better than the last few, that's for sure. It's better than the last 3 movies. And Arnold, when he is on screen, he's good, but he plays a different Terminator, right? Because he plays the one that killed John Connor at the beginning of the movie successfully, right? So, and it's actually kind of an interesting story. I wish they would have explored more, because after he completed his mission and he kills John Connor, he had no way of getting back to the future. So he just, assimilated into society. He got a job. He learned to be a human. It's actually kind of interesting.
Why wouldn't he just self-destruct?
I don't know, but it's actually kind of interesting. And he kind of learned to adapt and, the whole learning computer thing. And it's pretty interesting. And when she meets him, it's a little off-putting because the movie's trying to be serious in tone, but yet once again, they've let Arnold be all the comic relief. Once you meet Arnold's character, everything he says is like really funny, actually, but it kind of argues with the theme of the movie. Like, should I be laughing right now? Like, it's kind of weird that I'm laughing, and it takes away. But in the 30 years or 20 years or whatever, 30 years it's been, he's developed a sense of humor. He's developed all this stuff. So it kind of works in a weird way. So it's worth it for Arnold and even Linda Hamilton, even though you don't really buy a 70-year-old badass with a smoker's voice.
Does Arnold and Linda Hamilton ever fuck in it?
No, they do talk about Terminator sex though.
Yeah, like he could, but what if he has like a fucking gyrating cock, like a Sibian? Like she could just he just stands there.
It comes up because when she tracks down the Terminator who killed her son, he's living in the woods in like a rural area, and he's got like a wife and a stepson.
Oh yeah,
and he's like chopping wood. He drives a pickup truck. He has a business. He has a drapery business. His name's Carl.
Amazing.
So he's really like plugged himself into society. And that even comes up, the sex. Like, how do you fuck her? Like, how do you have sex? Like, our relationship is not built on physicality. Like, whatever. Like, basically, like, she just wants, like, basically, she's happy with a male role model that does the chores and does the dishes and doesn't leave the toilet seat up.
Lame. I would have written in sex.
It's actually kind of funny. And it's actually, like, when you see all that arc, it's like, man, you know what? Why did they wait half a movie to get to all this? Like, I want to see this Carl Terminator's backstory because it sounds like a really interesting movie.
They should have wrote it in that he accidentally killed his wife fucking her because like his semen shoots out like a shotgun blast or something and blew her head off.
Well, yeah, it just seems like his cock would be a jackhammer.
Oh yeah,
because he would never get tired, right? He would be the ultimate fucking man, right? Because he can actually outlast his woman, let her go all night long, and he's just on fucking autopilot. But no, I think why a Terminator movie is doomed to never, ever, ever live up to part 2 is because every movie is a different Terminator. It's not the same one. Like, everybody loves that Terminator that bonded with John Connor, and Terminator 3 is a different one. It's like when I saw Terminator 3, that Arnold was an asshole. You didn't like him because he was a different robot with a different mission. And
they keep trying to outdo fucking the bad Terminator, but like we didn't really. Part 2 was great despite like the bad Terminator. Like he was just kind of a backseat. It was all about the old Terminator and John Connor. They're fucking all up.
Yeah, so I mean that movie was lightning in a bottle, and they can never recapture it because it was just a different machine. Even this one, like, and I kind of respect it too. I get it. And Carl, the new one, he's like a totally different Terminator. He's the most lighthearted out of all of them because we meet him, and he's been living like a citizen for 30 years. So he's very chill. Like he is. He's very much like he's like, I'm now an old guy. He's chill. He wears flannel. He's got a dog, and he sits on his porch. He's like, look, I don't want any fucking shit, man. And he's like, over the years, and that's what he says. You'll watch the movie and you'll see that he's been dropping her little hints. He wanted her to find her. He's been helping her like for years. He's like, basically, over the years, after I completed my mission, I had nothing else to do. So I, plugged himself into life, and he became a family man. He's like, I learned, what it's like to have a family, and I felt guilty for what I did.
Did he become? They should have wrote in that he became the governor of California. Just write it in there.
I will say this: the end of the movie. Like, here's the pluses, Todd. If you want to watch the movie, the pluses are it is at least action through and through. It's not really boring, which is good, and the action is pretty cool. The violence is there, but I don't think they were selling this movie on being an R-rated movie. Arnie was anyways. Like, yeah, it's R-rated. It's got the blood. It's got the action, but I don't think they took full advantage of it. Like, dude, there's so many moments in this movie in the action sequences. As the not fucking phony ass director that's in my head, I'm like, dude, that would have been an opportunity for them to do this or do that. Like, really use that R rating, like, and make it, like that classic shot of what's that Arnie taking that machine gun to fucking T-1000's face, just blowing it a million.
Oh, yeah.
Like little things like that. There's like all kinds of stuff you wish they would have did. But whatever, it's a nitpick. It moves fast. It does have action to it. The story, I don't know. I feel like everybody that watched that movie is going to be like, man, they should have did this, or they could have went this route, or they could have did this. But it's not without its merits. In the end movie, they try and recapture the heartfelt like of the moment of the second one, because it gets you right in the feels, right? The self-terminate. They try and do that shit in this one, and it falls a little flat. It ain't nowhere near like it was effective in two.
If they took my idea, he could have tried to suck his own dick and blew his own head off to kill himself. It would have worked.
What, you mean pull a trigger with your big toe?
Hell yeah.
All right, so
Kurt it.
Speaking of franchises that kicked the bucket, Expendables 4. That's announced, I think.
Dude, that's been on and off for so many years now, and that was
why would they even attempt that? Sly is like in his 70s now.
He's looking it, dude. He's like hit this weird curve where he really everybody does, dude. Like my grandfather, he's like he's Sly's age, right? And I swear my grandfather looked great all the way up until like 68 or maybe 70. It's like, wow, you look great for your age. Then out of nowhere, he crosses 70 and he just hit this curve, dude. His hair went fucking white and he started, seeing it in his face and his voice became hoarse. Like, what happened? And that's where Sly is now. Like granted, he's still in good shape for who he is, but he definitely looks his age now. And he skipped leg day for the last 30 years, dude. He just focuses on the glamour muscles you see on camera. I think he's even admitted to that. Like he walks around on set with one of those like forearm squeezers, like he squeezes this thing, or he carries around this little 8-pound little rod, people say, and he just does forearm flexors because he's always got his he's not young anymore, so he can't exactly walk around with the shirt off, right? Like Tango and Cash. He's not young, but where he does excel is his shoulders and his forearms. So he always has his forearms, his sleeves rolled up to the elbow. And so like if you watch the more modern movies, he's got a close up on the forearms when he's holding a gun or something, right?
See,
and that's his
perfect. Secret. They can make Over the Top too. Like, of course, he's been working on his upper body.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. That would be a fun sequel after like fucking 35 years. Over the Top 2, an old man Stallone, dude, still on the circuit, the arm wrestling circuit.
I'd like to see a sequel to Demolition Man.
Me too. But anyway, if you see him out and about or on Instagram, he's got tiny little chicken legs. Because, I don't blame him, dude. He's old. So he's just going to work out what he needs to look good in the movie and what's going to be shown. So, more power to him.
I saw a meme on Twitter where he was out and about shopping during the coronavirus and he was wearing gloves. And they're like, Rambo wears gloves?
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's funny, man. You got to do what you got to do. He's doing his part at least, dude. I watched, was that you that sent me that video yesterday about all the fucking military vehicles going into San Diego?
Yeah.
Fucking National Guard and shit. I don't know, but I don't know. I'd still watch The Expendables 4 though. Give it to me. I'll consume it.
The third one was a turd.
But the thing, they have to know it was hot garbage, man. They sold out to the man. Made it PG-13 and catered and tried having all these young, hot people in it that weren't good actors.
Did that bomb?
It had the threequel curse, like where the third one always does the worst. Like it seems like it always happens this way.
Yeah.
You have the first one and the second one does the best, right? Because the first one garners some kind of like status or whatever and home video status. The second one does the best and it peaks, and the third one does worse than even the first one. It's every Rush Hour, every trilogy is like that. But anyway, we'll see what happens. But that's really all I got to talk about news, man. You guys want to hurry up and talk about what we've been watching? Riverman, let's start with you, man of the hour.
I have a few movies I've been watching. I've been mostly watching voodoo shit. I've been buying stuff here and there when it's on sale. I've been watching Lethal Weapon movies 1 and 2. Watched Road Games with Stacy Keach and Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh yeah,
which was okay. It's like an Aussie movie.
Mm-hmm.
Truck driver movie, it was pretty decent. Watched that. I watched Lighthouse, which I really liked. Rambo Last Blood. I saw it in the theaters. Sleepaway Camp 2. I rewatched that because I love that movie. Revenant, which I finally got around to watching. That movie's fantastic.
Still need to watch it, yeah.
Videodrome, which I've seen it, probably about 5 times, but it's still one of my favorites.
Long live the new flesh.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Midsummer.
Oh yeah.
Like we were talking about that in the last show that I was on, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was solid, but I wasn't into it as much as Zach was. But it was a very unique movie, and it I could see why people really enjoyed it. But American Werewolf in London. I've been watching a lot of the classics, pretty much.
American Werewolf in London's donk. Aaron still hasn't seen it.
I still haven't watched American Werewolf in London.
Really?
No.
I'm looking forward to the new Top Gun movie. That's on my list.
Probably got delayed, dude. Was it supposed to come out this year?
June.
That still hasn't come out?
Early July. No, huh?
Yeah, I know. It feels like they've been promoting that and talking about that for a long ass time.
Yeah, so I'm excited.
It's probably coming out next. The thing is like these movies that were slated to come out early summer, they don't want to push them off to the winter because that's like dead zone. They want to like put them off till next summer. So it's like they're going to get delayed a year.
I've still never seen the original Top Gun.
I've never watched the whole
it's
thing.
One of my favorite movies. I have the one sheet on my wall now.
Remember the Top Gun video game where you had to land the plane up, down?
Utter shit.
I never got past that part.
Yeah, nobody did.
I never got past it. And I remember, that's a funny story because I remember going over to this kid's house when I was in kindergarten, and he had an NES, and we would go over there and play Mario 3, and he had and I came over there, and his brother or him was playing Top Gun. It was that intro level, and I don't remember what, but he was in the middle of playing it, and he actually landed, and then his brother tripped over the system and cut it, and he's like, and he had a little bit of a lisp. He's like, I actually landed on the ship. And he was so angry. He was so angry.
It's funny because
I would be too, dude.
They didn't explain it good enough. All you really had to do was make sure that your altitude matched the number it had recommended next to it. But you never notice that because you're seeing the fucking blinking up, down, up.
Exactly.
Stupid.
No, they never explained shit in those old games, man. They just expected you to figure it out on your own, which is kind of cool too. Now there's too many tutorials, dude, in games.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I get it. I've played a video game before.
I did buy they had it on sale on Vudu. It was Drag Me to Hell, the director's cut.
Okay.
Which I've seen only once.
I like that movie.
So I'm looking forward to checking it out again.
I haven't watched my Scream Factory copy. I need to, but I like that movie. It's a fun movie. What about you, Zach, man? What's been new that you watched?
I've been watching, I got the HBO app, so I've been watching that like a lot. I've been watching the new season of Curb and
nice.
Tried to finish all of Silicon Valley because that ended last year or something like that.
Is that pretty good? I haven't seen that.
I enjoy it. It's fun.
Yeah. I'll have to check it out.
Our boy Mike Judge did it. It's not animated, which is weird.
I think that was the reason why, because there was a time where they were going to reboot King of the Hill, but he was just so busy with that show, and I don't know if that's actually going to come to fruition, but I think the ship has sailed on that. But yeah, well, you haven't been watching any other flicks?
No movie. I watched that show on Netflix. I'm Not Okay With This.
Yeah, okay, I watched that too. It was fun.
Yeah, it suffered from first season disease though, where it's like, oh, it's building up, and then it ends really good, and you're like, oh, whoa, what's gonna happen next? And then you gotta wait a year.
Yeah. What did I watch? What's that other one that just came out with a season, like On My Block or whatever? Like sometimes I don't even know these shows exist, and I'm like, oh, this is season 3, and then I don't have to suffer from first season disease. I could just binge watch like 3 seasons or whatever. But yeah, it was fun. I'll watch it again when it comes back. It's got that chick from It in it, and the Jewish kid from It. But
and I'm also watching Better Call Saul as it airs this season.
Eventually, I'll have to start watching that. I tried giving it a shot, watched a couple of episodes, and I don't know what. Maybe I wasn't in the right headspace for the type of show it was. I think it has to build. I think I have to invest a little bit of time into it. But I'll get around to it.
I'm with you on that, Aaron. I was the same way.
Yeah, and it's supposedly from everybody that watched it, they're like, I just wait. You got to give it time. So I just have to be in the headspace for it. But I've been watching. When we're stuck at home and we have. Riverman knows this. I talk about this on the show too a lot, but I'm real picky. We're busy adults here. So I'm real picky when I make time to watch movies. It's usually before I go to bed, I can squeeze something in. So I'm picky in the sense that I'll see a movie that might look awesome, but if it's over 2 hours, like, I can't do it. I'm like, give me something that's like 90 minutes and it's going to be extra fucking alluring and great looking to me. And just also, I don't take as many chances because, like, man, this time's precious. I really have to, it has to be something I think I might have a good chance at liking. But since I've been off for 9 days, that shit went out the window real quick. Now I'm watching every fucking bullshit movie I never made time for because it's like, what else do I got to do? I'm running out of movies. I know Zach has something to say about that because he could be like Midsummer, but regardless, I'll go through the list. I finally watched that Netflix movie Bright.
I've heard nothing but bad things about that.
I was kind to it and gave it 5 out of 10. Because it's whatever. I mean, if I'm able to finish it and it doesn't like bore me too much, because it's not really boring. I mean, you can watch it. It's just got all kinds of problems and it ain't nothing special. For a movie that has the aesthetic as it does and the idea that's behind the movie, it shouldn't be boring because it's a pretty interesting premise, I guess, but it just doesn't really deliver. For some reason, I watched, you guys ever seen Eye for an Eye?
No.
Okay. It's this movie with Sally Field. It's basically a Lifetime original movie that got a theatrical release because it's like a Lifetime style movie. This woman, Sally Field, her daughter gets raped by Kiefer Sutherland. He breaks into their home, rapes and murders her.
Does he have a big dick?
I don't know. They don't show it, but he gets off in a technicality, right? Early in the movie. He goes to court and she decides to take justice into her own hands. She starts learning how to shoot a gun. You know what I mean? Like it's that kind of movie, a mother revenge movie for her daughter getting killed. That movie was a fucking 4 out of 10. It was such a waste of a talented cast because it's got Sally Field, who's a great actress, Ed Harris, who's a great actor, plays her husband. Kiefer Sutherland's really great. And all of them, they're just in the shittiest, the script is so bad. And like all these great actors are delivering these fucking lines that I don't know, any one of us could have written in an afternoon. And I don't know. There's this one scene where Kiefer Sutherland approaches her youngest daughter who's still alive on the park because he's kind of like stalking her now, mocking her because he got away with the crime. And he starts trying to get close to her like fucking 5-year-old daughter. And he's and he looks at her and threatens her after he's playing with her on the park. And he's like, I don't normally like young pussy, but I'll make an exception. Like, oh, hell yeah. What the fuck? But
sexy.
It's not.
That's nasty.
It's. I can't believe. Like I said, they got a big budget for it. So, and what else did I watch? I watched A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, the Mr. Rogers flick.
How was
Tom
that?
Hanks? I gave it a 7. It was Tom Hanks was fucking majestic in it. He was great. Like every time he was Mr. Rogers, he was on camera. He became Mr. Rogers. He did such a good job. But like. To me, the movie's biggest strong suit was also kind of its weakness because I was attracted to the idea that Mr. Rogers was a side character. It really wasn't about him. It was about the journalist that was interviewing him and doing the piece on him. And he was the main character. But the problem is his arc is not nearly as interesting as when Tom Hanks is on film. It's just... you don't really care about his story so much. I mean, he's all right. His performance is all right. And his story's okay. And the idea of the script is really cool. Like, basically, he's touched by this guy that he doesn't understand. He's got his own personal problems. And knowing Mr. Rogers and having his influence, he basically kind of comes to term and he makes him a better person. The idea on paper is cool, but it's just not enough Tom Hanks. But, it's a 7.
See, I always thought they should have porn name, like a good porn name, and where you're mocking like real actors would be Tom Yanks and Kiefer Sutherland.
Queefer be good. I like that.
That'd be donk.
Okay, so Queefer has a pussy?
Yeah, that'd be a girl's name.
Okay.
Or like a transgender guy with a pussy. Like what's that guy's name?
I don't follow these guys. But...
I forgot his name.
Okay, I bet you did.
But yeah,
pull him up.
That whole time when you were saying that, I peed in some cups.
Oh.
I did a pee.
I also watched. You guys ever see that flick Daybreakers?
No,
Sounds familiar.
It's the movie with Ethan Hawke, Willem Dafoe, and Sam Neill. It's the vampire movie, kind of.
Oh, okay. I've never. Is it getting good?
Did you ever see that meme where it says Willem Dafoe and it shows him looking all mad, and then it says Willem Defriend and it has him with a smile?
Yeah, I've seen that. It's funny.
That's a dank meme.
So the movie's it's got a really interesting premise. I thought it was good. It's kind of a guilty pleasure. I gave it a 7 out of 10. It was fun. It was a fun popcorn movie. And the idea itself was interesting. Basically, a virus, I guess, had plagued the earth and it turned everybody, the whole world, into vampires. So the normal citizens are vampires now. Like they're holding down jobs. They're CEOs. They're working at fast food joints. They're all vampires. And it's the outlying people and the minorities are the humans. So, but it's a fun movie. It's fun. And Willem Dafoe's cool. And I mean, I'm a sucker for Sam Neill. I think he chews up every scene he's always in anything in a good way. I think he's a really good actor, and it's fun. I like it.
Was this on Netflix or?
I might have watched it on Tubi, I think.
Oh, okay.
The porn star I was trying to remember the name of is Buck Angel.
Buck Angel.
Do a nice Google search on Buck Angel. The most manly fucking man you'll ever see, and he's got a pussy. It's hot.
I think you sent me this Buck Angel before. I think we've been down this rabbit hole. I remember.
Let me look. Oh my god.
Oh no, it's all right.
Don't you just want to tear that up?
Looks like Yeah, Rob Halford or something. Without glasses on.
It almost looks like Corey G in this one picture I'm looking at.
Gross, dude.
Oh,
I watched.
you see the picture where he's deep throating the mic, dude?
Dude, no. All right. I watched that movie Gringo. I guess it came out like in 2018 and it's streaming on like Prime or something. It's fucking tonally deaf. It's boring and it doesn't know what it wants to be. It's trying to be all these different genres at once. That was like a 4 out of 10. And then to wrap it up real quick, my shit streak here. I finally watched Escape Plan 2 Hades, Todd, because I had heard nothing but terrible things about that movie.
Ugh.
I heard nothing but horrible things, dude. And I'm like, you know what? I woke up yesterday morning. I was with the dog downstairs. I literally had like a couple hours to kill early in the morning and nothing to do. I'm like, fuck it. This is now or never. And I put it on. And granted, it was the kind of movie I was multitasking from. Like, I'll play with the dog. I'll feed him. I'll kind of do some dishes and I'll have it running and I'll kind of watch it. You know what I mean? So it wasn't a movie I was giving 100% of my attention to. It wasn't worth it. And that movie deserves every review it ever got. I gave it 1 star. I gave it so, and it's really being kind, me giving it 2 out of 10. Because it's just shit on a stick. Then I watched Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. That's one that I gave that 3 out of 10. I thought it was a turd. It's not good. It's cringe. Yeah, I didn't like it, man. It was too heavy handed in the fan service, rehashing all these old jokes. And even then, all the jokes they were trying to modernize and tell that were dating it to now, they were still outdated. Like the emoji jokes weren't landing. All this stuff is like 5 years too late or whatever.
Those guys are still living in the 90s, which, it's fine. That's how old they are.
It made it seem like Kevin Smith was a boomer. It's like, it's like your grandpa coming up to you now and saying, dude, we're getting Adele. I'm like, Grandpa, what? That was fucking 15 years ago. What? But there's a lot of those jokes in it. Like, what? I know you're trying to be current, but that those jokes aren't even flying now. You're like 10 years too late. But I didn't like it at all. I thought it was dog shit.
What'd you think of Val Kilmer's little nugget in there?
It was clever. They got a role for him. He didn't have to talk.
That was fucking hilarious. He's fat now.
How's my mole?
Well, it's clever because he can't talk and he's got those problems. And he played Silent Bob or whatever. It's fine. But to be honest with you, I didn't laugh once in the movie. I didn't think any of it was funny.
Because you're beta.
I didn't think it was funny. It was fucking dog shit. I'm tired. Kevin Smith's daughter, God bless her and God bless him for wanting to work with his kids. I'm not dogging on him, but dude, she doesn't add anything to anything. And I don't know. It was just shit. It wasn't good. And lastly, last night I watched It Chapter 2. I rented that. I paid $2.99 and rented that. And
what did you think of that fucking memey scene? We gotta talk about the memey scene. Hold on.
First I'll give you my rating of it. I thought this one was a little worse than the first one, even. Just a little bit.
Oh, what a beta.
I mean, ultimately, I gave it like the same, like 5 out of 10, middle of the road. But
it's such a fucking mess, but it's fun for some reason.
Middle of the road. I mean, so like, it's weird. I think it's a little bit lower than the first one, but I still couldn't justify giving it a 4 or anything. Because my rule is, look, if I can get through it and it doesn't really bore me, because I heard a lot of people saying it was too long and boring. For a movie that was about 3 hours long, I was able to watch it. Like, it actually surprisingly, I wasn't tuning out of it, which surprised me. But yeah, it's a little bit less than the first one, but overall, it's like middle of the road too. What scene you want to talk about?
Just what's the weirdest, goofiest scene that comes to your mind? We'll see if we're thinking the same thing.
It's the whole movie's a lot odder than the first one. There's just so many weird scenes. I don't know. I thought it was going to be way more effective than it was. I mean, the whole thing's weird, dude. This one had like a lot more stupid cartoony CGI in it that took me out of the movie. A lot more.
What'd you think of the scene where the homeless guy threw up on Tate and it started playing that song for no reason?
Yeah, for 1 second. It was like what was the fucking song?
It looked like the meme thing that you see after the movie comes out, but it was just in the movie. Like somebody adds a song to the seed to make a meme, but it was just like that in the movie.
What was the song?
Angel of the Morning for no reason.
You're my money, the angel money. Yeah, it was weird, and it was like for like a second, and I'm like, I thought it was gonna go, and it was at one of the darker times. There's a lot of comic relief going on in that whole scene where they're trying to kill the clown. Even when him and Bill Hader went to the whole doors again, the scary, not so scary, whatever. They were being silly, and they saw the dog. Oh, who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? Like, why are they doing that now?
Now, see, I watched a bootleg of that, and it was really hard to like fucking watch because it was the frame rate was all fucked up and it was pretty blurry. Did the de-aging scenes look good or not? with the kids.
They did not. It was off-putting because not only was there, I mean, with anything like that, after you see so much of it for so long, it's like The Irishman. It looks atrocious, but after you watch it for so long, you kind of are desensitized to it and you just accept it. You know, you get used to it. Did you see The Irishman, River, by the way?
No, I haven't
Okay,
seen it.
so you don't really get the reference, but yeah, when I first saw him though, I was like, what the fuck? I had to tell my company, I'm like, hey, look, those kids, they fucking obviously grew up in that 2 years or a year or whatever, because they de-aged them, and I swear they got different actors to play some of the voices because it's not the same. Like Finn Wolfhard, that was not his voice. That was a totally different kid. Like
They'd have to do that, I guess.
yeah, because that's the worst part, right? They had all these actors dubbing him. The fat kid Ben looked the weirdest up close. He was like de-aged. I'm like, well, they couldn't get his face right because like I felt like his nose. It felt like the filter. He looked like he was wearing a Snapchat filter, and he was moving his face away from them.
That's what they always look like. Yeah.
And it looked like the fat kid was moving. Whoever's playing the new one, it looked like he kept moving his face away from the camera, and the filter was leaving his face for a second. Like his nose wouldn't sit still. Like what is going on?
Yeah, if you watch the Irishman trailer, like the first time you see Joe Pesci, it looks very fucking video game like.
Yeah, but
You only got to watch the whole movie.
But you watch so much of that to where you eventually just kind of like get desensitized by it. That's the way it was too, but it took me out of it a little bit. But I think I'm not so sure. It might have been because I was watching it on like I'm watching on a really big, really good 4K TV. So that hurts stuff like that. I was really focused in on it. Maybe it wouldn't have been the same in the theater, but yeah, that was off-putting, and I don't know. I just don't think this one was scary at all. It had a lot more try-hard moments, but it wasn't scary. It wasn't like
Of course it's not scary. We're fucking adults. We're not kids.
But it was hokey. Though the first one wasn't scary, but it was just hokey. Everything was hokey. Too much comic relief, and I mean, of course they make Richie gay because why? I mean, because it's 2020.
Because I would suck the fuck out of that cock. I wanted him to be gay. I was open and praying for it. That scene at the end where fucking Pennywise looks at him and he just goes limp. That was fucking hysterical. I laughed my ass off at that.
I can't remember. What are you saying? Which part?
And like whenever fucking Pennywise just opens his mouth and shows him his deadlights, he like fucking goes limp and his eyes roll back. You could tell he did that really on location, and I just laughed my ass off at that.
Yeah, no, it's weird because it's just middle of the road. Like I didn't hate it. I didn't particularly like it. I felt like the cast was kind of wasted. Bill Hader's pretty funny, but I don't really think he was necessarily really funny in this. But
what about the ending though, where they diss him to death?
Oh yeah, that was weird.
They just like, hey, you suck, and he dies. They bully him to death.
You're just a tiny clown. He's like, and literally, dude, like we laughed when we saw him. He was all smushed against the floor. Like what?
It's fucking amazing.
It was so silly.
You look like fucking the Power Rangers movie when you see what's his name like laying in his fucking thing. And he's all old looking and shit.
Yeah, Zordon. But it was just really weird, and it was just James McAvoy. I usually think he's a really great actor, but he was wasted in this movie. I just feel like he played less of a role, and something was missing, and I couldn't put my finger on it. But I'm like, oh, that's right. Like the wife is totally not in this because remember in the miniseries in the book, the wife comes back to town, and and she's trying to like help. Like they took out certain characters, which is fine, but I found a lot of parts a little bit incohesive, like when they were doing lots of flashbacks. Like I found myself like, okay, is this flashback before or after they defeated it when they were kids? Like I was having trouble because I think it was jumping all over the place. I don't know. It was all right, man. I'm not in any rush to watch it. So
fucking Tate, you should have showed his cock in it too.
Oh, I'll tell you what though, dude, that actor, that Tate guy, did they knock it out of the park, man? Casting that guy as an adult because he looks just like the kid that played him. Like he looks exactly like what you think he would look like 30 years later. Does he not?
I thought they were all pretty decent casting.
Yeah, he knocked it out of the park. He literally looks like he'd be that kid's father. So it's like, wow. Back in the day, they don't give a fuck, dude. They had that one blonde fat kid playing Ben, and they cast him as brunette John Ritter. Like, oh, we don't give a shit if this looks nothing like him. Like,
yeah.
Which, by the way, they put the original Ben Tramer in this.
Ben Tramer from Halloween?
Oh, no, sorry. I don't remember his last name. I don't know why Ben Tramer came out. Ben, though, Fat Boy, he's in this too. He had a cameo.
Yeah, I remember hearing that.
He was in that like boardroom scene at the very beginning. Like he's talking to I don't know if it's Mike or it's one of the early scenes where they're setting up their new careers and stuff. But yeah, he's in it. I'm like, that's the original guy. And it was funny because he's the only one that doesn't match. And like I said, the people I was watching the movie with, I was like, we were all pretty impressed on they were introducing all these characters and how well they were cast, like from their younger people. And it's like, oh, like, yeah, the Tate guy, like that looks just like me. It did such a good job. Or even the redhead, right? Oh, that's a great casting. That's a good job. And then they show the original Ben, the blonde hair, and they're like, oh my God, that's the fat kid. They nailed it. I'm like, no, that's funny you say that's the original fat kid, but that's not him. And then they show the new one, and it's like this GQ model. I'm like, he doesn't look anything like the fat kid.
Yeah, he had to get skinny, so that's going to be the hardest one to make look.
Yeah,
similar.
But yeah, it is what it is, man. James McAvoy is a bit of a disappointment in it too. I'm like, I don't know, but it is whatever. I don't know.
Which one's he?
He's Bill. He's the main one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's just and he's usually a good actor. Like I like him in Filth, and I like him in a lot of things. It's just whatever. But I think that's all I got for new movies. So what do you guys say we take a break and we talk about another movie that I don't know if I'm looking forward to talking about?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Come on.
We'll be right back.
There's blood out there. Please, do something. Do something. Do something.
It's a missing person. We have to wait 24 hours.
No, there is blood. There is blood out there. Send the police now.
Today, police made a shocking discovery in Poughkeepsie.
A third body was found here today.
A Poughkeepsie couple vanished over the weekend, seemingly without a trace.
Do you mind if I film this? I'm making a little movie about my trip.
The Poughkeepsie Tapes.
All right, and we're back, and we're here to talk about Riverman's choice for flick. And as tradition goes, Riverman, you get to tell everybody what we're doing as if they can't read, the title of the video / podcast. But tell them what we're doing and why you chose this. And then maybe get us. It's your job as the person that picked the movie to kind of take us through it, right? And then we'll kind of chime in and talk about it as you go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, putting a lot on you.
Yeah, okay. So I picked Poughkeepsie Tapes, which came out in 2007, which never made the theaters. So the reason why I picked this was because I was walking out of a theater in 2007 and I saw the poster on the wall, and I was like, Poughkeepsie Tapes, what's that all about? I went home, I watched the trailer, found it kind of interesting, and then it never hit theaters. And I was always like looking it up every year or two to see what the status was with the movie. But basically, it got shelved. I don't know why they didn't end up putting it out.
I could give you reasons.
Well, I kind of shut up. I knew that was coming, but
see, I think this movie not coming out when it should have, kind of fucked it because they put out a bunch of movies that kind of outdid this one.
Absolutely. The same director, he also did a number of different movies like Quarantine in 2008, Devil, which was, I've never seen it, but As Above, So Below, and No Escape. So, I mean, he's done some pretty big films other than this. This seems like more of a student type of film. I mean, so I picked it up because I saw it on Amazon, and I was like, oh, I've never seen this. I wanted to see it back in 2007. So that's basically why I picked this one out. And this is the first time we all three have seen it. So
I got the trivia here for why it never came out. So it says,
okay,
despite having been completed and having had its theatrical trailer attached to several widely released horror films in 2007, the film was eventually pulled from release without any official explanation. It was later given its first official limited release 7 years later in 2014, when it became available as a video-on-demand title through a DirecTV. The film was finally granted a DVD and Blu-ray release through Shout Factory 3 years later in late 2017, 10 full years after its initial planned release.
And this was kind of a film like back in the day, like in the mid 2000s, late 2000s, like a lot of the horror fans talked about it and how they were actually excited to watch it back in the day.
It was leaked for like torrent sites in like 2007, 2008, somewhere around there. So yeah, people were talking about it. We all heard about it. It came out around that time when everybody was like, "Oh my God, it's so brutal," and it got that. Everybody was talking about that. So yeah, you watch it, you're like, "Oh, it's gonna be brutal," and it's not that brutal.
Yeah.
Okay, I can kind of sum up this film within one sentence. I saw this online. The entire film was shot in 15 days.
That makes sense.
Definitely shows.
Now, when you guys were talking about, people were talking about it, and it was buzzing. I wanted to quote Zach and say, "Why?" Because this is going to be a different kind of cinema enema because there's not a real narrative here to discuss. This is going to be a short.
No, it's more of a docu-series.
Yeah, it's basically set up like it's a documentary where they found a serial killer. They found an abandoned fucking apartment building with all these tapes that he was filming, and the whole movie is just us watching the tapes. Look, and it's a bunch of footage of him. Like,
here's my thing.
Let me go ahead and just explain the plot, just so everybody knows.
Okay, flag thereof.
It's just a bunch of footage of a serial killer. The footage, a bunch of talking heads, like FBI agents being like, "Yeah, we tried to stop him, we couldn't," and then it flashed back and forth between the tapes where he's like kidnapping. He kidnaps a kid in one part. He's torturing some a chick. He's got her kidnapped and tied up downstairs, and see, the thing is,
torture, Zach. He has him sitting and bouncing on balloons. Like, what is I was laughing my ass off. Like, what the fuck am I watching?
At first, yeah.
For some reason,
like, what is this?
They decided to write it in that he's got a balloon fetish where he gets like prostitutes to sit on balloons and he films it.
That would have been more interesting. I would have rather watched the balloon thing go on for an hour and a half, personally.
Yeah. And these actors are, I mean, they're not even C-grade actors. They're probably F-grade. They're shit. They're utter shit.
Exactly, because here's the thing, guys. The Blair Witch Project, this is not. Because if they're going to go with the mockumentary style and they're really trying to, I don't know if they're really trying to convince people, but they have to have the good actors for it to make it convincing, even if we know it's fake. If it can be convincing and they can have all that conviction and have good actors that are really committed to it, but they had the worst fucking America's Most Wanted reenactment reject actors I've ever seen in my life.
That's what kind of got me out of the movie. Like after 5 minutes into it, I'm like, oh, this is shit.
It's so every time every time they cut to one of the Poughkeepsie Tapes of the killer talking, it reminded me of, "You want to be a movie star?
That guy.
You want to be a movie star?"
Oh, Jesus.
I was like, that guy has to be the director because he's fucking terrible. Yes.
He's
somebody that just got the job because he was there.
That guy needed to not be terrible. The fucking killer needed to not be terrible.
That was the first moment I realized, okay, this is all acted, is whenever the first Poughkeepsie Tapes showed. And it was like, oh, they put a bunch of filters on it to make it look like it's a VHS tape instead of just really degrading some VHS tape.
And it looked like every time we watched a Poughkeepsie Tape and the way that guy was acting and he was holding the camera, it reminded me of one of those amateur POV porns where they're like trying to act like just like some couple.
Hell yeah.
Like, oh yeah, like, yeah, has daddy's girl been naughty? You want to, it was so cringe. Like, oh, and it was like all the rejects, like a guy spent a whole day just on Pornhub taking notes.
Oh yeah. See, so when I started watching this, I was like, hey, I kind of see what they're going for, because I had just watched a movie where they did the same thing, a movie called Lake Mungo. You guys ever seen that one?
That movie's great. I really like that movie, actually.
That movie came out a year later, but this movie never came out. It came out in 2008. And see, what that movie did was like, I enjoyed that one because it was like, okay, they're trying to make a movie that's set up like an episode of Unsolved Mysteries.
Mm-hmm.
And so watching but that one's more interesting because like, oh, it's paranormal. Like all those paranormal episodes of Unsolved Mysteries were always the best ones and the creepiest.
Yep.
So this one, it's similar, but it's like, oh, it's a killer. So I was trying to like get into that mood, and this one just didn't grab me like that one did.
No.
Well, I can tell you guys that I finish most movies. I like to just, if I sit down, I'm going to finish it. Whatever it takes for me to get through it, I'll try and get through it. There's been a couple of movies in the last year that were just so bad that I couldn't finish. This would have been one of them had we not discussed that we were going to do it for Cinema Enema. So I felt obligated to finish it.
You didn't like it that much?
I had to finish it in 2 sittings. I had to take a fucking break. I'm like, this is terrible. Yeah. And I was, dude, guys.
Hey,
I mean,
that's one better than me. It took me 3.
Look, so I'm not I gave Riverman spoil. I beat him to it. I texted him. I said, hey man, I'm not gonna give you spoilers, man, but I just watched your movie and I want to say fuck you for choosing this movie because it was torture. But
I mean, the horror community was going on and on about it back in 2000s. I was like, I want to check this out. And it was yeah.
If I would have saw this before seeing Lake Mongo, maybe I would have like been like, oh yeah, maybe I would have thought like put it up on a pedestal more than it deserves.
It suffers from what a lot of movies suffer from. If it's gonna try and do something and it's gonna try and be on a budget, dude, they should have went hard in the right areas. They didn't go hard in the violence. They didn't go hard. It wasn't that disturbing. It just all came off silly. They weren't making up for what they lacked with other things at all. It was
I think it came out like around the time when Paranormal Activity was big, that sort of thing.
Well, it was 2007. It was Paranormal. Yeah, right. So it might have fared a little better. But I just, even against Paranormal Activity, like I can at least watch the first Paranormal Activity. At least I can sit through it.
Yeah, it's way better.
You know what I mean? It's like there's something going on here. Like that movie was just a joke. It literally felt like, this is, no one out there is really gonna know what we're talking about. But Riverman, I came across that DVD of all those movies we filmed in high school, like Frito and the Bandit and fucking Lonely Ghost.
Oh yeah.
Okay. This felt like a bunch of kids like us filming this movie in high school.
Yep.
Like that just happened to have a lot of people helping them out.
And it seemed like the actors were like laughing at the end of their lines. Like, I mean, they thought it was like a joke the whole fucking time. Which kind of took me out of the whole thing.
I feel like we're jumping the gun if we start talking about reviews and what our thoughts were, but we kind of been talking about since day. There's not a whole lot to talk about as far as dissecting the movie. So, I mean, I don't see a problem with just telling my issues with the flick. So, I mean, I don't know. It was, I legit gave this movie fucking half a star. I fucking hated it. I hated it. I don't know how these movies get made. I don't know how much it cost him. Did he fund it himself? Do you guys know the history, or do you have the facts, or?
I don't know. There's not a lot of trivia.
The only thing I see is it had a very modest budget. That's the only thing I see.
Yeah, I mean, they weren't even clever enough to fill balloons with ketchup and mustard for like effects or something. They weren't even doing. I don't even remember any gore in this. Was there any gore?
The most.
Are we supposed to be?
The most gory scene was whenever he killed that girl that he picked up in the cop car.
Oh yeah.
And it's just her spitting blood out of her mouth.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to like, just the fact of it being disturbing, of him like picking up little girls and talking in a cheesy porno accent, is supposed to carry the movie as far as being creepy, but it's not. It's not at all. Like, I mean,
do you guys remember the exact moment you realize, okay, this is acting?
The first scene.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like, the first fucking scene. It was terrible.
It was worse than Unsolved Mysteries.
It really was. It really was, man. It was terrible. I don't know. I would have never, if I had a budget and I had to cast all my friends in the movie because we had no budget, I would not attempt this type of movie. This is not the one I would do. I don't know, because I'd rather have a fictionalized movie that was, really trying to be a fictional story, and I'd rather have bad actors in something like that than trying to be a mockumentary and have terrible actors that can't hold their own. I don't know. It was terrible, and they should have compensated and had it be extra disturbing with something. They should have made up for it. But it was terrible. It was boring. I couldn't get through it.
The one good thing about this movie, though, okay, we can all agree on this.
Oh, okay.
The runtime is only 81 minutes.
Oh God, longest 81 minutes of my life, Todd.
Hey.
It took me 2.
It did feel kind of long. Like, I watched it in one sitting, But I left it till the very last minute. Like I started watching it like when we had just that amount of time before we started recording, pretty much.
Oh, just now. Okay. Oh gosh.
And I did notice, like at one point, I'm like, okay, this should be wrapping up soon, and then I paused it and realized, oh, I'm in the middle. It was one of those movies.
Well,
yeah, it was.
You go on IMDb.
Not good.
The reviews. This is a gem. Disturbing lost flick. Can't get this movie out of my head. It's like people love this movie, dude.
I tell me about it. I was shocked because Zach, as you know, whenever I go on Letterboxd, I leave my rating and my review before I look at the communities, right? I don't want to be swayed. So I left my half star because I couldn't go any lower. It will not let me go lower. And I wanted my voice to be heard. I didn't want to just say I watched it, because when I see I watched it, no one puts a rating on there. To me, that doesn't say no rating. It means they're undecided. So I'm like, I have to tell the people what I feel about this movie. So I have to give it half a star. And I gave a little review too. But I looked at the rating average, you can see on Letterboxd about how it stacks up with the whole community. This thing shockingly hovers around the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Shocking. Like if you look at the graph, dude, most of it is in the 5s. And then the second most is in the 6s. And then a respectable amount is in the 7s. Most of it's hovering in the middle to upper middle. I'm like, what are people fucking smoking?
This that reminds me of that movie Megan is Missing, which is like kind of the same. But I remember like I watched that and it was really fucking hard to get through. Like all the kids are like really fucking just like, oh God, I hate these people. And like they're all saying shit, and it's just like you're rolling your eyes and shit. And then it's like you go online or you watch reviews of it, and people are like, oh my God, it's an amazing film.
I'm looking at the reviews right now, dude.
I don't get it.
Fucking 4 stars with a heart, 4.5 stars out of 5. Truly a depraved little movie, and I loved it. Probably the most realistic found footage horror movie since the Blair Witch Project. What?
It's crazy.
If you go to IMDb, the first page is all 10s and 9s.
Yeah.
And this one's great. It's brutal.
9 out of 10. This movie is so fucking amazing. Let's see.
One of the most brutal horror films out there. It's like you were watching a bunch of tapes from a serial killer. That's the fucking plot. That's exactly what it's like.
9. Well, it tells you the people that it's attracting, right? Lowest common denominator morons. 9 out of 10 here. This person, sickening. One of the most disturbing movies I've ever had the displeasure of watching. Up there with Cannibal Holocaust as the most soul-scorching found footage movie on the market. No. What? There is not a hint of fun, well, I can't argue with him there, or brevity, or hope in this movie.
The masked man in one scene almost made me have a heart attack.
Is this Dave Mustaine writing that review? Hello.
Oh yes.
I can't disagree with this line in this 9 out of 10 review here. There is not a hint of fun or brevity or hope in this movie. Of course, they mean it as a good thing. I'm like, I was pretty fucking miserable. I wanted to kill myself. That's pretty much on point.
I think you guys hated it more than I did. I'd just give it like a 4 because I thought it was.
Well, what did you give it? So I guess I gave it half. I gave it a 1 because that's the lowest I can give it out of 10 on Letterboxd. And I didn't want to give it nothing, like I said, because that implies like I don't know what to give it. And I wanted people to know, fuck this movie. What do you give it out of 10? Come on.
So Aaron texted me earlier today, asked if I watched the movie, which I told him no, because I watched, I tried to watch the movie 3 times, and it was such a pile of shit, which I got through it. And I saw, she ended up, I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but,
oh, spoil it, please.
Oh, really?
Come on.
Oh, she ended up committing suicide in the end?
Yeah, we can
after
spoil
they were
it.
interviewing her? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
9 out of 10. The final interview with Cheryl is truly heartbreaking and unflinching. A disturbing replica of every 2000s made-for-TV true crime doc.
Basically, the end interview, she has some weird fucking she sings Brain Damaged or something, and she says like, "Oh yeah, I love him," because he lets her go basically, and they interview her, and she's got like that fucking Stockholm, yeah, and then it ends with her committing suicide, and then her last interview, she said like, I know he's coming after me soon, and then she committed suicide. But at the beginning, it shows that he stole her corpse. So she was right. She should have just waited a little longer.
Yeah, 2 out of 10 for me. It was dog shit. But
9 out of 10. Look at this 9 out of 10 review. Really, I can't say what the magic formula is here, but whatever it may be, it radiates disturbing vibes I likely won't soon forget. The climax is drilled into my head, and the sinister events leading up to it cut me deep. What?
oh my god,
What?
dude.
I got to see what the rest of these movies are that these people watch. I don't understand it. Like,
This is the worst thing I've ever seen. I've seen worse.
This reviewer says, I'll never watch it again. 10 out of 10. As a huge horror fan who is pretty much numb to horror, I found this terrifying.
Terrifying.
well, here's maybe somebody that's totally. I have to imagine everybody that's rating it so high are just rookies with horror. Or something. They have nothing to compare it to. I don't know, but
They're saying it's the scariest horror film I've seen.
okay, maybe my grandmother would think that if she watched this, right? She also thinks Metallica is the most satanic band in the world.
Well, and this was 2 months ago, which blows my mind.
Yeah, well, a lot of these are, on Letterboxd, these are all new reviews, man, because the Amazon, they're like just all recent. But it's just, I get it. Like the bar could be, you could always have shit, but like, dude, once you get below a certain level, shit is shit. I mean, it really is. Like, I might as well have been watching someone's high school movie. I got just as much out of this as I would that, because I got nothing out of it. Even movies that I don't particularly care for that Zach makes me watch, Pink Flamingos, which is empty dribble.
God. You see the whistling asshole there?
Of course, Zach made us watch it like on repeat.
Oh.
He loved it. But anyway, that movie at least does what this movie should have did, right? It made up for certain things in the shock factor. At least it was doing something. I mean, I still think it's shallow, but if it was like Pink Flamingos Light and it was all the same stuff with no story, but even the gross out stuff wasn't even quite gross, it would be worthless. But at least we still talk about it. We're talking about the whistling asshole right now. So this movie had none of that. What's the movie we have to do the sequel for? Necrophiliac. What is it again?
Oh, you watched that?
Schizophreniac too.
Schizophreniac.
Yeah, that necromantic movie is ridiculous, dude.
Okay, so we're talking about Schizophrenia. Okay, that movie is ridiculous, and that is all shot on like film and just like on a handy cam, but at least that has fucking scenes that we're just fucking laughing at. Like, what is going on here? That has something. This movie has no redeeming value here. Zero, I think. Especially when it was trying to be a movie that was already in a sea of other movies like it that were just flooding the market. Like, this is not going to stand out. Like, why would you even attempt this, right? At that time. That's just my opinion.
To give these people credit, if they did a review in like the early or late 2000s, I mean, horror was pretty shitty back then too. So I maybe give them a break. But people that review it now, I mean, horror's shit now, but I mean, there's way better independent stuff out now than there was back then.
Yeah, I don't know. It is what it is. But is there really anything else we could say about this flick? I mean, besides that, it was not good.
It's amazing.
I apologize for you guys having to watch it, but I mean, it was a movie that everybody was talking about, so I thought it'd be pretty interesting to do a review on something that...
Fair enough topic, so I personally am curious as to what everybody else out there thinks of it that's maybe seen. I have a feeling a few of our listeners has probably seen it because, I mean, they seem to be really up on the up and ups with this stuff, but are we crazy? Like, I feel like we have to be missing something because there's so many fucking off the chain reviews for it. But at the same time, there's 3 of us here that all thought it was dog shit. So I don't know who's drinking the Kool-Aid. I don't know.
See, I thought it could have been like, if it just wasn't as boring as it was, it could have been like, oh, that was competent. Still not good though. Because like a 5 for me is like, oh yeah, that was competent. I didn't feel anything watching it, but it's a movie and it was competently made.
Yeah, But you said the key words there. If it wasn't so boring, I mean, yeah. If a lot of movies weren't boring, that's the worst crime a movie can commit.
I'm looking on 2007 IMDb, and this movie, horror wise, it was it's the same year Hostel Part 2 came out.
Gotcha. Okay.
Rob Zombie's Halloween.
Okay.
The Girl Next Door, which was that Jack Ketchum movie.
Yeah. So the torture type of porn thing was popular back then.
The Mist.
The Mist is way better than this.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Spider-Man 3.
Okay. Random.
God.
Well, anyway,
Death
I feel
Proof.
like after my last 6 or 7 movies I've watched, including Poughkeepsie Tapes, I really need a baptism to cleanse the shit out of my system because I've watched nothing but shit. It Chapter 2, when that's the best movie I've watched in the last 3 days, that's a problem because that was just whatever.
Just call me Angel of the Morning. That was the great fucking meme.
Dude, I was fucking lost. Like, what happened? It was weird. I was reading reviews for it after I got done watching, and other people pointed that out too.
Everybody was talking about how at that scene they all looked around like, did that just happen? Did my brain just put that music there, or was that really in the movie?
It felt like were they going to go through with this, and they just decided not to after a second, and they stopped? Because it went for like a second, and it was weird, and it stopped.
The oddest editing I've ever seen in a movie.
It really was. And people were saying, like, this would have been more funny if Deadpool didn't do the same gag at the same time right before it, right? Because I guess they did the same song and everything. They should have did a different song or whatever. And I don't know. I just thought it was weird. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Whatever. I mean, that movie sounds amazing to me right now after Poughkeepsie Tapes, but I don't have anything else to say about it. Do you guys want to wrap up? I feel pretty disheartened and disenfranchised.
Yeah.
Just that if they took all those Poughkeepsie Tapes and they could have recorded over it and had the entire, Law and Order series in that big pile that they showed at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah. I know I made sort of an inside joke with Riverman, but that you want to be a movie star. That's a thing, Riverman, I know about. But didn't it just reek of a Splitsville?
Of what?
Like a shitty, a Splitsville Productions.
Yeah.
Which is it's a certain someone's shitty indie short film company that I don't want to name names.
So like brain damage films where they're all shot on video cam.
I think they already know if they listen to the podcast there, Aaron.
It's Lush, dude. Lush, right? The movies anyways.
I didn't say anything, man.
Hell yeah, dude. Lush had some movies on Amazon Prime at one point. We were thinking about watching one.
Hello?
Hello? What?
We're here.
No, I hear you, man. I hear you.
But it just had such a. I'm not trying to shit on anybody's Cheerios, man. I'm glad they got their movie out there, but it's just not good. I don't know what to say. It's just I had a miserable time watching it, and I'm glad cell phones existed at that moment because I was utilizing my phone for sure.
I'd love to hear what some of the listeners thought about it, though. I hope I hope they do watch it because it's on Amazon Prime. So of course you don't have to waste your money on it, but. Yeah, tell us what you think about it. I'm really curious about it. What people say about it.
100%. Let us know what you think because, like I said, I want to know who's crazy. The three of us, by chance, that all don't like the movie, or is it all those people that fucking seemingly love it? I don't know. Let us know.
See, I was saying, like, yeah, maybe you had to be there at the time when it came out, and all the hype around. It's like they don't want to put it out. They don't want us to see it. I can see that. Like clouding people's judgment, but people are watching it now and saying it's a 9 out of 10.
Dude, I mean, go on Letterboxd. These are all new reviews, buddy. Like they're all recent reviews. And it's disgusting. But anyway, let us know what you think. Obviously in the comments, if you guys are on YouTube, and if you guys are on YouTube, make sure you guys are subscribed, like the videos, share us with people you think might enjoy the content as well. And if this is your first time stumbling across one of our videos, check out the rest of the channel because we got tons of shit. We got our BTM commentaries where we do film commentaries, obviously, and talk a bunch of nonsense. We have these cinema enemas. On occasion, we do a deep end podcast. There's Mac and Zach Save the World. There's a lot of shows we have to offer. And if you guys also wanted to, if you guys are on YouTube, click on the description below. We have links that'll take you to all of the podcast services. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify. We need to get on iHeartRadio. We got to figure out how to do that too. I don't know if it'll help us, but even if you guys like and prefer YouTube, maybe at least go follow those links and leave us feedback, a 5-star rating over on like Apple Podcasts or Spotify or something, and a nice review. That helps us gain more exposure. And it's like the best currency possible for someone like us. It helps us gain exposure to more people that are like-minded, right? And that'll also enjoy the show. But just know we're on all those places. And also remind everybody, if you guys are repeat listeners, that's all we can ask for. And we love it. And we appreciate the hell out of every one of you guys, especially all you guys that comment. I guess I better look for some comments too if we have any. Maybe I won't. I don't know. But what?
Oh, do you mind if I say one thing before?
Go for it.
So I'm going to leave it up to the listeners. If they want me to come back and actually be on another episode this next year, let me know. And if not, then...
Next year?
this
they
current
were.
year. So I'll leave it up to them. If they think I'm shitty and they don't want me back on, tell me that.
Okay.
If they do, then I'll come back. I'll talk to Aaron.
I mean, given the movie you made us watch, can I vote against it? No, I'm just kidding. I'm playing. No, hey, isn't that funny? Like, if you guys are all good little boys and girls, Riverman might come back before the end of the year. What is this? And I thought you were going to say next month. But that would be cool. Like, even if you didn't want to record all the time, even if you came back for Cinema Enemas, which are just like monthly, that would be kind of fun.
Yeah, I really enjoy this format. This is kind of
shoot the shit, watch
it. Brings back a lot of memories. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is more old school. But yeah, man, so let us know. I'm sure you guys won't have any problems. I'm sure you guys will want Riverman to come back. But on that note, like I said, keep on listening. We appreciate everybody. We appreciate the subs going up. We appreciate all the feedback and comments everybody listens to. If you guys want to support us any further, like I said, we understand we live in Corona times now. So cash be strapped, y'all. I get it. So don't feel pressured to like do anything you can't do. But if the time comes where you are able to, we have a Teespring link that is below wherever you're watching us, where you guys can go over and buy any merch. They kick us back a nice chunk of profit for every t-shirt we sell or whatever we sell. We got some great designs up over there, pretty much covering all the bases and all the shows. And if you guys want to go the extra mile, we recently put up and built a Teespring. Sorry, not Teespring. I already said that. The Patreon, where, for the cost of what you would pay for a basic bitch coffee, per month will support us, and it will allow us to get to a point where we can give you guys extra content, both on the free side, what we normally do, and exclusivity stuff just for patrons. And of course, you guys are going to get all the content free. Everything goes up 3 days early, and all kinds of fun stuff. But I'm not even going to try and sell that too hard. If you guys could just click on the link and just shop around and look at it yourselves and give us feedback on what you think. If there's any other perks you might want, you think are within the means that we can do, we're trying to keep it realistic. Obviously, we're just a couple of dudes. We want to be able to give as much as we can humanly accomplish. And with the goal in mind that if we can hit a couple of stretch goals that you'll see on the Patreon, we'll be at a point where we can do extra content, X amount of content extra, and even get to a point where maybe we can the dream would be to be able to pay somebody else to help us edit, to be able to fucking have even more content. I don't know. I mean, the sky's the limit. But check it out and let us know what you think. Other than that, that's all we really got. We hope to see you guys next time. Who is it? Zach, is it your turn to pick next?
I think it's still yours.
Oh, is it? Okay, that's right. Because you went and then I had to watch Ken Park and then River. Okay, so I haven't decided what I want to do yet. We'll let you guys know as soon as. If we get some Patreon support, maybe I'll throw a vote up there. Eventually, I wouldn't even mind doing that, like throwing the Cinema Enema polls up there. Because maybe it'll get kind of hard for us to come up with movies that we've seen and blah, blah, blah. But we'll let you guys know what we're going to do next time around. And stay safe. Keep your asses clean. Wipe front to back, side to side, whatever you got to do. And try not to eat each other during these times. But that's all I got. Any last remarks? No? Going once? Nope.
Fucking no.
No, it's been a pleasure.
All right. Bye-bye, puppets.